Is that in shot?
Well, I'm going to hold it right next to my face.
Crikey. Hello and welcome back to another video. If this is the first time you're finding me, hello. My name is Nicola and I run a small home fragrance business from my kitchen at home with a toddler and a baby, and trying to figure out how to do it all. I'm yet to find the answer, but I am unsure what I will be doing in this video at this current moment in time. I have got a market this weekend, my local market where I do local pickup as well. I will take you along for the ride. It's a very cute one. It's a farmer's market there as well. It's quite short, it's only a few hours. Yeah, looking forward to that. I did prioritise restocking last week, so I should be good to go with that one. There's not too much stress involved. And aside from that, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do next. I've got a long list that I keep adding to during the 2 a.m. night feeds, and I'm just going to pick something, I think, and just make a start. We'll see where we go. Trying to calm the chaos and find a balance between mum life and running a business. Lots of hot drinks, and someone's outside my window. So I'm just going to pick something off the list and make a start. Let's go. Right, cup of tea. Let's make some candles. So, hold up. Cheers. Right, this morning I am making some candles. My toddler is at nursery, baby girl has gone for a walk with grandma. So I'm a free woman and I am making candles. So I'm just going to crack on. And I thought, why not bring you along? I had the local market at the weekend and it was really nice. It was quite quiet, but that's to be expected. It's quite a small local one. I saw some of my regulars, which is really lovely. They've been hanging on over the winter period. They're still there. They all came back to get some refills and things like that, which was really lovely. So yeah, it was really nice. And it was like I said, it was only a half a day one. I think I filmed some bits and I need to do some more restocking, definitely. I've got some bigger markets coming up this month. I have got Super Seconds Festival at the weekend, and then at the last half of the month I've got 2 craft and flea markets, which I love. If anyone's ever been to a craft and flea market, you will know they are fantastic. Always a lovely day out. If you ever get a chance to go to one, I highly recommend it, whether that's as a stall holder or just to go shopping. They are fabulous and yeah, always a good day. So I needed to get some restocking because I have got 2 back to back, and I'm going to be optimistic and assume they're going to go really well, and that I'm going to need loads and loads of stock. So let's start. So today I'm going to start bulking. So rather than just filling the shelf with 1 or 2, I'm going to try and do a larger chunk. Not masses. I'm still just going to try and get the shelves full in whatever way I can manage. Yeah, so today I am making sage and sea salt, which is always a popular one. Lavender, I have still got some lavender, but I'm just going to top those up because that's always a good one. And then cherry bakewell. Might finish with that because it smells delicious and I want my whole house to smell like that for the rest of the day. First things first, prepping all my moulds. I do get asked about these moulds. It's quick, it doesn't have... Lost my train of thought there, sorry. So yeah, I do get asked about these moulds. I actually had them made because I'm bougie. I found a company on eBay actually that made general moulds and then got in touch with the sizes of my jars. So yeah, unfortunately I can't necessarily list moulds, and they're always going to be different. So if anyone is a candle maker watching this, everyone makes refills in a different way. There is certain types of waxes that you can put into your jars, and then in theory you just whack the jar and the refill pops out, so you can literally make your refills in the jars, which is a great way, to be fair. I do have some thoughts on that. I personally couldn't use that. I did try it and it did work, but the main wax that everyone tends to use is it's a soy wax, but it's a soy blend. It has got other waxes in it, albeit minute. I did have to read the small print quite thoroughly to get that information, and I pride myself on 100% soy wax, so that was a no-go for me. And secondly, there can be, sorry, this is probably quite noisy, there is can be discrepancies in jars. That is something else to bear in mind. So not every single jar will always necessarily be exactly the same. So if you've made the refill in the jar and then you sell the refill to go in someone else's other jar, yeah, I don't know, it might not be identical, it might not fit. I have had the odd one in the earlier days where someone has bought a refill and they've got home and the jar was slightly off. I now have systems in place to stop that, so I do test every single jar that I buy. Obviously I get them in big boxes, and before I sit and brand them, I go through, I check them for marks, for scuffs, all that sort of thing. And I have like a dummy candle that I made using my moulds. That's the thing, I know that all these moulds are exactly identical. That's where it comes in handy. And I use my dummy candle in every single jar that comes through. So before I brand it, before I box it, pack it, anything, I check it. Is that in shot? Crikey.
Do they smell yummy? Do they smell yummy?
Okay, candle's done. Baby's asleep. Got a little bit of time before nursery pickup, so I'm going to crack on with some Super Seconds stuff. And yeah, it's going well today. I just deleted everything. I'm extremely fortunate that my husband works in IT and has absolutely saved me. Crikey. Yeah, I owe him. Yeah, I'm doing this on my phone right now because my camera is hooked up to two computers. And I thought I'd just capture the moment of me having a full-on panic. We will see. Here he is, man of the hour. Did you fix it?
No.
Will I learn my lesson?
It's the second time you've done it. We'll see. Third time's a charm.
I deleted everything. Did I get it back? You may ask. Sort of. Most of it, to be fair. But there was a big chunk missing. I've no idea what I said. But hopefully lesson learned. What happened was...
Basically, she deleted everything from the main disk, thinking it was like uploaded to the cloud. She deleted the video file footage from the main disk.
What happened was I needed to make room, basically. I couldn't upload anything else onto the computer until I made some room. So I looked at what I upload everything to. Apparently I need to stop using the term upload because it's confusing me. But I'd looked at what I'd already uploaded, so I deleted that because it was already up. But this is the issue. It was not already up. So I did that, and because there wasn't enough room on my computer, it couldn't go to recycle bin. It permanently deleted, which was fine, right? But it was not fine. Everything then went red because the media had been removed. I hopefully have learnt my lesson. Have I learnt my lesson? We will find out, I suppose. Hopefully. It's not the end of the world. And we move on. Do not permanently delete is the moral of this week. I think what I was talking about in the mystery footage was Super Seconds Festival, which is this weekend. So I'm just topping candles at the same time, finishing these ones off that I poured earlier. Here's one I poured earlier. Yeah, so Super Seconds Festival is this weekend, which is... What is Super Seconds Festival? What is it? Super Seconds Festival is an online festival that is discounted stuff, heavily discounted stuff usually, seconds items, so anything that's slightly faulty, imperfections and end of line things, sample products. Over 250 makers I think take part, and it's great. It's a great way for small businesses such as myself to sell stuff, sell things that they might not have ordinary things that they might not have normally been able to sell. In my case, it might be, so for example, for seconds jars, they might have a little mark on it or something like that normally I would just put to one side and say I'll use it for myself. I can usually cover these things with personalizations or names or things like that, but what I wouldn't want to do is just cover it up and try and hide that. I'd rather be honest that it's there and then try and hide it. So they are heavily discounted and you can still personalise them, and I will obviously try and cover up any imperfections that there may be. Or not, some people don't really care about that. What have I lost now? Stamp. As I was saying, yes, some people might not even care, and I mean it is, if it's just on a normal jar then you can just turn it around, to be honest, and there are different levels. Some are slightly imperfect, and to be honest I get them back out and even I can't tell what was wrong with them. Others it might be a bit more obvious, so yeah, it is all very clear what it is or how bad it is. And then in terms of actual candle seconds, I don't really have many. Some of them are where they've got a bit knocked, so they might have like a something like that, which I can repair sometimes, but it depends. And again, there's been absolutely nothing wrong with that. You could just pop it in your jar and off you go. You're not going to see it, you know, once it melts it's all going to look exactly the same anyway. But that's one example. The other one that I tend to have is low volume, which I think is actually the only one that I've got this time. I've only got one seconds candle so far, give it time. It is a low volume, it's sage and sea salt actually, but basically my moulds have air holes in them. You might think, why have you got air holes? I have air holes because it makes it easier to unmold. So by having an air hole in the bottom, it makes it easier to do that so that it creates air, and then it's easier to get the candle out. So they do have air holes in the bottom to make it easier to unmold. However, obviously it's a hole, so I plug the air hole with blue tack, because if I don't plug it, there's a hole in the bottom. Not so much anymore, but I do occasionally forget to plug a bottom. I mean, it's not too bad actually. Usually all that happens is the wax leaks into this bit, so it just means that the actual height of the candle is slightly short. Again, works absolutely fine, nothing wrong with it as a candle. It's just slightly shorter than I would like. So So yeah, that's another example of a seconds item. So that is the main two that I have. So I do have some end of line things, maybe like seasonal scents. I don't actually know if I've got any left from Christmas. I might have a look and find out. It is this weekend, so obviously this video will go up after that. But that being said, there is an after party where the majority, I would say, of bakers do carry on the following week, myself included. Yeah, but it's great. It's a great one. And let me get my stuff to wrap. Next on my organising hit list is labels. For now, we work with what we have. So the other thing I have got, I'm going to include this time, is mystery scents. So for Black Friday is one of those things. It's a bit of a tricky subject, I think, for small businesses, because I personally like to take part in Black Friday, but for obvious reasons, small businesses can't do the big crazy sales that see a lot of bigger brands like Amazon and things like that can do. We just wouldn't make any money, probably make a loss, to be honest. But I like to take part somehow. So something I did last year for the first time was mystery scents. So it is discounted to the normal prices, but there's nothing wrong with it. They're not seconds. They are completely perfect, if I do say so myself. I did it as a mystery scent, so you don't know what you're getting. So I did that one just a complete mystery. So I'm out of breath. And this time I have done it a bit more personalised, so you can sort of choose your scent type. So whether you like fresh or sweet or food, cherry baked bar, for example, I've done it a bit more like that, so you can be a little bit more selective about it. So that's the other option. So I've got mystery scents for the candle refills, the diffuser refills, and then the actual candles themselves for jars, and wax melts. I do a pick and mix. I think I mentioned before, I do a pick and mix wax melt box. So I have included that as well. So you can just get 4 random wax melts. Yeah, I love it actually. It's really nice to surprise people. So I'm just going to crack on. I'm currently finishing off these candles, and then, come on, this is what I mean. My system is not, it's not a system, to be honest. It's not a system. Next on my hit list, I think, is definitely labels and admin and things like that. I will speed through this because A, it's going to take me ages to try and actually find a label in this situation, and B, it is just wrapping candles, so I'm trying to zoom in a little bit. It's quite satisfying to do, so hopefully it's quite satisfying to watch. I've also got my favourite mug from the Thoughtful Potter that tells me that it loves me when I get to the bottom, so that helps. I ran out of paper. Why do I do this? It's fine. Is it fine? I think it's fine. How exciting! I found paper. Bring it all back. And labels. What is this? Okay. Well, there we go. Time flies. I'm definitely feeling more positive this week. Maybe it's the sun, maybe it's spring in the air, I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that I've actually organised my cupboards and can work without having to rearrange the entire house. It does make a difference. I'm very much a tidy space, tidy mind kind of person. And while my space is certainly not tidy, my cupboards are, which is really helpful. And it does feel good to get a little bit more on top of things. I've got supplies ordered, things on the way. It feels much better. I need to remember this when I don't prioritise clearing out cupboards or rearranging or reorganising. It makes a massive difference. Super Seconds was a lovely weekend. I say that like I did anything particularly different to my usual weekend. I didn't really, other than that was going on in the background. Yeah, I did go live with them on Sunday, which was really nice. I've done some shopping, so they will be arriving. I will unbox everything on the next video, all the little bits that I've bought. There are some really lovely things. It's always really interesting to see what other people do. It's a great way to find new shops and new makers, new crafters. And yeah, ultimately I've got some orders to pack, which is fantastic and always a nice feeling. And especially now everything's more organised, it's far more fun to actually pack orders. It is making me want to sort through more stuff. Obviously my whole house in general, but that's by the by. There's definitely a label paper stationery situation going on that I need to address. So I think that's probably next on my hit list in terms of organisation. The difference that it's made having my materials and tools and things organised has made me realise that it really does make a difference. So I actually put up some organisers in our office for labels that currently have headphones in. Then hopefully that should make the whole admin printing side a bit easier. And then I want to start looking into, I know I briefly mentioned, I think in my first video, about getting some of the admin outsourced. Flyers, maybe thank you cards, maybe. Job number 1 on the business glow up list. So yeah, that's exciting to be in a position to start thinking about things like that. So next is restocking, more restocking and more restocking, prepping for the next couple of markets that I've got coming up. I'll also have lots of supplies and goodies to unbox next time. I have ordered a big old restock of wax melters, and there's some really lovely new fun styles. So yeah, we can open those together. Yeah, I think that's it for now for this one. Again, thank you so much for watching and sharing this journey with me. It's so lovely and reassuring to not feel completely alone and isolated in this chaos. It feels good to hold myself accountable a bit more and be more intentional with what I'm doing and when, rather than just frantically flailing around underneath the water. Hopefully it continues. Stay tuned to find out. But for now, I'm going to have a break, have a coffee, put my feet up and have lots of baby snuggles, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.